Hey, what is up, Theme Park Hipster? I'm so happy that you joined me today. My name is Nikki J, and I am here to give you 5 of the best Walt Disney World resorts to stay in if you are a solo traveler. Now, I know that I love to help you guys out about all of your solo travel tips and needs for all of the theme park destinations around the world, but today we're going to focus on Walt Disney World. One of the main questions that I am asked is, where can I stay as an adult solo traveler going to Walt Disney World? Well, stay tuned because we are going to tackle that today. As you know, there are so many resorts to choose from when you are staying at Walt Disney World, both on-site and off-site. But today I'm going to focus on my top 5 that I have found to be pretty adult-friendly and solo traveler friendly. So if you're an adult going with multiple people, you can use these recommendations, or if you are a solo traveler, you will love this. Now, my top Walt Disney World resort for solo travelers is the Dolphin Hotel. I know we usually say Swan and Dolphin Hotel, but I lean more towards the Dolphin Resort because I feel like the vibe is a little bit better than the Swan and Dolphin. First of all, when you walk into that atrium, it's like, I'm here. And you're like, wow, this is how I'm going to start my vacation off right. And I think it is the perfect place, the perfect ambiance to get into that Walt Disney World adult vibe and groove. Now, what you're going to notice at the Swan and Dolphin is that it has more of a modern, Renaissance, adult, aquatic vibe. And it's not too congested where you are always around families and you're hearing kids screaming and everything. It's a really cool vibe. And even if families are there, it's kind of like the vibe encompasses you and it wraps you up and makes you feel like, okay, I'm here. It's cool. We're vibing. Got a piano player in the background. So that's one of the reasons why I like it. As far as the rooms go, they're pretty basic, but basic in the sense of it's not old school. So the rooms have been updated within the last 5 to 10 years, maybe 5 years. I'm not sure the date, but the rooms do have that modern vibe, modern twist. But the perk of this solo traveler room and adult room, the perk is the bed. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Thank me later when you sleep in that incredible bed. I want you to come back to this video, comment, and say, you know what? You were right. Thank you. That made all the difference for me ending my trip at Walt Disney World, being stressed out, and then coming back and relaxing in my heavenly bed at the Dolphin Resort. Another reason why I recommend the Dolphin is because of the price. You cannot beat this price. It is located in the center of all the action, and usually you can find the price, which I'm not going to quote too many prices on this video because we do know that prices are always changing. But one of the prices that I've kind of been lucky to get have been around the $150 to $179 per night range, but that's just getting lucky. Most of the time you're expected to pay the $200 to $250 range, which still at Walt Disney World, if you have looked at those prices, then you know that's a steal. Besides the prices, one of the reasons I totally recommend the Dolphin is the location. I mean, you're not going to get that from any Disney resort with that price in that location. It is situated between Hollywood Studios and Epcot, but it's right next to the Boardwalk Resort, which has the famous boardwalk filled with lots of dining, shopping, and nightlife for, us adult solo travelers who like to, get our dance on. And, you're on a solo trip, so you want to feel young and happy. So that's why I like it there. You can walk right back to your resort, or you can take the boat ride straight to Hollywood Studios when you're going there, or you can take the boat ride to Epcot because you get that option at the Dolphin Resort. Also, if you do decide to go to Hollywood Studios and you're like, hey, I want to go to Epcot, guess what? Skyliner. Take you from Hollywood Studios to Epcot. You enter Epcot from that to like a VIP area because you enter from the back side, which will land you right between the UK Pavilion and France. And then you could just take the boat ride after you leave Epcot and go back to the Dolphin Resort. I love this place. There's so many amenities for the adults. I love the gym there. I love the spa there. The food, Todd English Blue Zoo, And the pool area, I love the pool area, has this nice grotto, and then they have these nice water slides that you really don't have to leave your resort. If you don't even want to go to the parks, you don't have to leave your resort. My next recommended resort is Coronado Springs. It is another adult-friendly solo traveler moderate resort at Walt Disney World. Now, the reason why I recommend it is because the location of Coronado Springs, it kind of sucks a little bit because you don't have any direct transportation, as far as like you don't get a boat ride to anywhere, you don't get a Skyliner to anywhere. So you're going to have to take the buses to places, but in return you get this kind of secluded area. It feels very tropical and like you're straight in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico because it is a Mexican themed resort. But not only that, they do give you these types of options of types of rooms that you want to stay in. Options such as the ranchos, casitas, and cabanas. So the ranchos are all about that rustic charm. Then you have the casitas that have that Spanish style architecture. Then you have the cabanas that's reminiscent of you being on a coastal Mexican beach resort. Then you have the newest addition to the Coronado Springs, which is the Grand Destino Tower. At Coronado Springs, this is going to be a Disney resort that's catering to people who are there for conventions or any kind of conference type person. So you're going to see a lot of adults here, and it's great. They have a lot of different dining options. They have the grill area out there, or you can call it like an adult restaurant. Kids are welcome. I don't want to make people feel like, oh, I can't go there with my family. But I'm talking to the adults today. So while staying there, please do not forget to go to the Lago Dorado. It's like a nice little lounge in the middle of the lake at Coronado Springs. And they have some delicious drinks, but they also have some delicious food. And I don't know if they're gonna bring it back Walt Disney World, but if you can catch it, there's something called the Sangria University. Yeah, I'm putting you on that. I'm putting you on that game. Sangria University will take you out. It is absolutely, hands down, one of the best things you can do on your solo trip. And if you just have an adults girl trip, y'all getting together, y'all having fun, Sangria University. So I hope Disney brings it back after all this craziness has kind of settled down. Now, my next resort recommendation for solo travelers is Disney's Wilderness Lodge. Yes, I was gonna give y'all something a little nice, a little on the pricier side, because we just did Coronado Springs and we just did Dolphin Resort Hotel, whatever you like to call it. So I'm going over to Wilderness Lodge. Now here you get that rustic Americana vibe filled with incredible waterfalls, boulders, that lodge look, but modern lodge, a little sophisticated lodge, and you even get a geyser effect. I mean, this place is charming. Now, if you think the Dolphin Resort when you first walk in is like, then go to Wilderness Lodge. I'm trying to tell you, when you walk in there, even if you don't stay there, just go over there and walk in the lobby. You're gonna be like, where have you been all my life? I mean, so that's the first thing about the Wilderness Lodge. It's not the Fort Wilderness, so I might go back and forth because I always call the two the same, but they're not. But whatever, I don't care. I might mess up, so forgive me. So what I do like about this is that I love that lounge. It's called the Northwestern Mercantile. I will leave the description here because I can't think of that lounge, and it's adjacent to the Artist Point restaurant. The things about the rooms here is that they're okay, and you're gonna find that with a lot of Disney resorts is that the rooms are okay. You're mostly paying that Disney tax for location, but this location here is just a boat ride away to the Magic Kingdom, or you can just take a bus to the Magic Kingdom. The boat ride, if you get out before the whole rush and crowd in the morning, and you're going like on a lighter day, then you could be in front of the gates of the Magic Kingdom within 30 minutes. And I know that's gonna sound 30 minutes. I thought I was near there, but the way Wilderness Lodge is set up is that it's around the Magic Kingdom area, but it's not like so close as far as like the contemporary resort. So you're gonna want to get on that boat ride before people gravitate towards it in the morning, right before the parks open, or kind of wait till the crowd rushes out and then you get on it. And when you're on the boat, of course, a boat is not going to speed you over like a monorail. So you gotta like ride the boat, and then you get closer there and then you get to the Magic Kingdom. So it's gonna take a while. It might take shorter. I just don't want you to have any false hope. I gotta give you a real deal. Now, as far as the price, it's not the Dolphin. It's not a moderate like Coronado Springs, but yeah, you're gonna pay. So you're gonna start in the 300s, yeah. I don't know what kind of solo traveler you are. You can choose that. For me, I choose Wilderness Lodge for more of the vibe, the location. And I probably wouldn't even go to the parks too much because I probably just want to be in my little wilderness, little bubble. But I would say that $300 starting out is kind of pricey unless you find a really good deal or you have an awesome travel agent. Like, yeah, you're going to be paying. That's why I always go back to the Dolphin, because I got location and price on deck. The next resort that I am recommending is Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. Now there are two sides. There's the Riverside and there's the French Quarter, but for a solo traveler, we're gonna go on the Riverside. We're gonna take it easy. We're gonna, be fancy and stuff on our solo trip. So I'm gonna start at Riverside. Now here you're gonna see beautiful, beautiful landscape and scenery. Is going to be reminiscent of the southern area like southern Mississippi and Louisiana. You're going to see these grand staircases and you're going to see the river. So you're going to see a lot of southern mansions. But this resort is divided up into 4 main areas. You have Alligator Bayou, Magnolia Bend, Sassagoula Steamboat Company, that's an area, so forgive me if I mess up the name, and Oman Island. Now all of these areas are just to give you an idea of where things are in the resort, so you can kind of get a feel of where you're going to be. If you look on the map, you'll see the map will have these sections divided. So if you take, for instance, Oman Island, it will be somewhere near the lobby. It'll be where the pool area is, where fishing area, playground, that kind of area. And Magnolia Bend is where you'll see those Louisiana style mansions. And that's kind of how your resort looks. It's very beautiful. The thing about it is that the rooms are okay. So when you're choosing it, you're gonna have to figure out what's the most okayest, whatever. You're gonna have to decide that, because the rooms are gonna all be similar pretty much at Walt Disney World. You just go based on how you feel about that resort, the location of the resort, the amenities, how easy is it to get to the parks, and the cost. One thing I do have to remind you about Port Orleans Riverside is that you can take a boat ride over to Disney Springs. So that's a plus. Go out to Disney Springs, have a nice little fun nightlife, go to Morimoto Asia, sit at the sushi bar, I love my Morimoto. Or you can go over to the boathouse, have some drinks, have some oysters, have that crab cake that's thick as heck, and then make your way back to your resort on the boat ride. Also, while you are at Port Orleans Riverside, make sure you go to Port Orleans French Quarter and get that beignet. Now, one thing I do want to warn you guys is that those beignets, they come 3, minimum of 3. So I was on my solo travel thing. I'm like, I just want 1, please. They're like, no. But I'm like, I don't have 3 people. I'm trying to be healthy, but still treat myself, And they were like, you get 3. So, I mean, what is a solo traveler to do? That's one of the downsides, I had to get 3. And I was like, man, why do I have to, can I just get 1? What? They're like, no. So that's what it is. You can eat one later in your room when you get back, or you can eat them all in one sitting. I love them, and people have their mixed opinions. I haven't had a true one from Louisiana, so I am good with mine at Disney. So definitely go over to the French Quarter side and get your beignet. Now the prices at Port Orleans Riverside, they are not too bad in terms of Disney prices. You might be able to get away with like $250 a night. And if it's a good season, you might be able to go lower. But if you're going through one of those seasons that, Disney's good, they don't need to, whatever. I don't know how they come up with the prices, but you may be spending a little bit more than the $250 price. So just kind of like to give you an idea of what you can expect. Now, my final resort for you guys that we're going to mention today is Pop Century. Pop Century is both great on price and great on location, but the room is At Pop Century, you're gonna expect some things like, old school Americana, pop culture, lots of colors. I mean, it's great for photo ops. It is great for just being able to be at a resort, allows you to get to your rooms easily. It has nice average on-site dining that allows you to mobile order, so you can use your phone, use your My Disney Experience app, and do some mobile ordering. And then you go to the cafe and just pick up your food, and you can either eat it there or go back to your room. But that's the problem, the room. Now, when I went to Pop Century Resort, it didn't go through the renovation that it went through. And it was like stepping into 1992. I hated it. It was dark. It was just dingy. And it was just so small. Now, it's been renovated. Still small. I mean, small. But you're solo traveling, so it doesn't matter because you're probably not going to even be in your room that much. You just want a place to lay your head. And that is the purpose of Pop Century Resort. And that's why I put it on here. It's the cheapest out of all the options I've listed. I've had moments where I could get a stay around $100 a night. So you can really stay here for a good price. And so if you're staying at Disney for 5 days, that's $500 versus like you can end up spending like $1,000, $1,500 just on resorts alone at Walt Disney World. So $100 a night, you know, I'll be in my little small room. But just know that it's not really for families. I'm sorry. It's not for families. Adults, 1, maybe 2, maybe 2. And if you bring the third person because y'all trying to be cheap, then y'all better love each other because you're going to be all up under each other. But other than that, for the price, you can't really say much. And the location, I mean, you can take the Skyliner from Pop Century Resort over to Hollywood Studios or Epcot. So the location alone is pretty much cancels out the room size. So I don't really care when I'm solo traveling. As long as my room is clean and it's convenient for me to get to other locations, because you know you're traveling solo, you don't want to think about so many things like, okay, how I'm going to get to this place, transportation. Oh, and by the way, it's closer to Animal Kingdom, so the bus ride to Animal Kingdom is not that bad. And then you can take a bus ride to the Magic Kingdom, but that one is a little bit further out from Pop Century Resort. So those are my thoughts on the top 5 resorts for adult solo travelers. Now, I'm going to go over a couple of questions, just a couple that I got from some readers over at the ThemeParkHipster website. The first question is it worth staying on Disney property? I would say for your first trip, yes, definitely, but you're gonna pay. So if you have to stay at a Disney resort that's on property, you can either stay at the Pop Century Resort or the Dolphin Resort, which the Dolphin is not technically a Disney resort, but you still get some of the Disney perks like the transportation system there. And if it comes back, extra magic hours, meaning that you can either get to the park earlier or stay later whenever that returns. And you can book your FastPasses earlier if FastPasses come back. You know, everything's a little up in the air, so keep that in mind. The last question I got is, what are the benefits for staying at Disney property? Now, like I said, it's location. And when it comes to solo traveling, it helps with your safety because you're kind of in that Disney bubble. Of course, you want to use your common sense. Whenever you go somewhere, don't just assume because you're at Disney, everything's 100, but it's still pretty good. So the benefits besides the location, being close to things, and safety issues is that you'll get some of those Disney perks that I mentioned previously, like FastPass if they bring it back, and extra magic or early magic hours, whatever it's called, and also the transportation there, and the location of convenience, just being convenient. And it makes your trip less stressful because you don't have to think so much about your logistics of how you're going to move from place to place. That's one of the bonuses of staying on site at Walt Disney World. Well, there you have it. Those are my top 5 resorts for adult solo travelers coming out to Walt Disney World. Remember that if you are thinking about making that trip to Walt Disney World and you still have some questions, you can come on to the Theme Park Hipster Facebook group. Just go on to Facebook and type in Theme Park Hipsters. Or if you want like an itinerary to kind of help you plan 90 days out, 60 days out, 30 days out, day of, all that good stuff, I'm gonna leave a link to this video down below, and you're going to be able to get your free template, your free itinerary, and you just get it, download it. Thank you again, and until next time, happy park hopping hipsters.